Hi. Okay, so now we are on the fourth stage of ego maturity, the creative stage of ego, it's called, or the sociocentric stage. It also can be called the ethnocentric stage. Okay, so this is, you finally realize you can create things, you know? Like a child that doesn't want any help. Just let me do it. No, let me do it. That's when you see that in children. When you see it and when you see it with adults, it's a little bit different. It's a doing with no goals or no clear understanding of why you're doing it. You're just doing things, but you don't have a plan. You don't have a goal. You're just doing things because you know you can create things. You know you can do things. Let me do it. See how that's selfish? So people stuck at this stage, they're like you finally have an awareness of other people. You realize that, you're black or you're white or you're Hispanic or you're Chinese, In other words, not everybody's black, not everybody's Hispanic, not everybody's white, not everybody's Chinese. Racism and really, like people, they say war is because of religion. It's not because of religion. It's because people that are religious being stuck at this level. It's when you see someone and they just all they ever do is make money for their family. They're just they're buying their kids cars and this and everything's about their family and themselves. Their race. Their ethnic background. They're like all I care about are Jews, and anyone that's else fuck anyone else that's not a Jew. It's thinking that your religion's true. I mean, there's over 5,000 deities in the world. It's thinking that you were lucky enough to be born in the family that actually has the true religion, and all the other religions are wrong. That's being stuck at this stage. You're ethnocentric, you're sociocentric. You've noticed there's other people, and you've compared, and you're being selfish. Again, ego is always separating from the whole. So you think that you're separate from the Chinese people because you're black or because you're white. But really, a Chinese person and a black person, that's not enough of a difference. It's never enough of a difference. We're all just, you once were in all those situations, So it's being stuck at a level. It's doing with no plan. You're just doing things, like if all you're doing is, and you think the purpose of life is family and providing for your family, then you haven't noticed that there's other families all over the place that are trying to provide for themselves. Then there's cities trying to provide for themselves, and there's states trying to provide for themselves, and there's countries trying to provide for themselves. And it just never kind of ends, and yet we're all connected. When you start seeing that we're all connected, now you're going to be going into the fifth stage. So one cool thing about stage 4 and stage 5, to be successful in Babylon, to be successful in this world, you only have to make it to stage 4 and 5. So some of the people we look up to that are great, they had the award, they had the image, they've made it through the steps of ego maturity enough to get an award, to achieve things, but now if they're stuck at this stage, then they're ethnocentric or whatever, but it's enough. You could be a millionaire, you could be the owner of a corporation. So that's why you see this in life when you see millionaires commit suicide. You're like, oh, what the hell? That's like one of the richest men in the world, and he's depressed and hates himself and jumped off a bridge and killed himself. Why do they do that? Why do rich famous people OD on heroin and cocaine and die? And they're depressed? Why are you depressed? Thousands of women want to have sex with you, and you have a gazillion dollars, and everybody knows who you are. See, that's all that identity and all that stuff, and it's looking at someone from a lower stage, not realizing that those things aren't really who you are either. But it's enough. It's enough to make you successful. It's one of the problems with our society, is that we don't need to be very mature. to be considered awesome.